Californian is available on your Kindle Fire? Or how about Google's Nexus 7, the Nook? You bet. You can also read a full replica of the newspaper on your Android-powered smartphone, on Apple's iPhone, or on your laptop. We have a solution for any device. E-Edition is free for subscribers, or just $7.99 a month. The Bakersfield Californian. We're everywhere and anytime. Subscribe today. Bakersfield.com.
Roadrunner Rundown on Bakersfield.com and the CSUB Roadrunners Digital Network. Live from the Dignity Health Studios in downtown Bakersfield, California.
Hey, welcome in once again to Roadrunner Rundown, the official program, CSUB Roadrunner Athletics. Corey Costello here with you on this Tuesday. Thanks so much for joining us. And back on Tuesdays after the holidays, thanks so much once again for checking out Roadrunner Rundown. We got a great show today. We have a lot of highlights to get to in this segment. We'll get into those in just a few minutes. But first, just to preview who we have on the program today, we're going to be speaking with our Director of Swimming and Diving, Chris Hansen. He has he's in control of the men's and women's swim teams, and both are in action this weekend. A very busy weekend of action for Bakersfield, as a matter of fact. Roadrunners are going to be hosting a tri-duel on the women's side on Saturday against Alaska Fairbanks, Loyola Marymount, and UC San Diego. And the men's team will be hosting UC San Diego as well at the Hillman Aquatic Center. So a lot of stuff to talk about. They also had a victory over Fresno State over the weekend. The women's swim team did for the first time at the Division I level. So we'll talk with Chris Hansen about that and a few other things around the swim program. They're getting ready to get into the heart of their conference schedule as well. So we'll talk about that coming up a little bit later on the program. Also, our Athletics Director Jeff Konya going to join us. We'll update, we'll kind of talk about now that the fall sports have all finished. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also sort of recap the Western Athletic Conference basketball opener, which happened last Saturday. And of course, conference play continues for men's and women's basketball. So we'll talk with him about that a little bit as well. And the final segment of the program today, we will continue with our Behind Enemy Lines segment. We'll be speaking with play-by-play announcer Michael Potter from Grand Canyon University. They're coming to town on Thursday, taking on the Roadrunners. So we will chat with him about Grand Canyon. The Antelopes 1-1 after 2 conference games. We'll chat with him about that coming up in the final segment of the program. But a lot of highlights to get to and a lot of things to talk about coming up for basketball. So let's go to Rabobank Arena. Saturday night, Bakersfield cutting the ribbon. First of 7 home WAC games. Swim team was pumped. They're out in force, getting the crowd ready to go. Saturday's game, though, well, the tip-off there would be won and lost in the post. First, Bakersfield getting it going early on with Stephon Johnson. He had a nice start, the mid-range jumper, and then Johnson also stepping out from the post, hitting the three-pointer off the glass. He led CSUB with 15 points. Then Ali Ahmed getting going with the jump hook in the lane for Bakersfield as well. He had 8 points, but was in foul trouble all night. Brandon Barnes also gets into the action, but Utah Valley had an answer with Zach Nelson all night long. Nelson with the three-pointer there, and then also he's going to get a foul. Then they're going to dump it down low to Ben Aird. He is going to get fouled as well. He had a game-high 26, several from the free throw line. More Zach Nelson with the jumper and the kind bounce, but Bakersfield led by 4 at half. Second half is where the post starts to really roll for Utah Valley. Ben Aird gets it going in a big way off the transition there, and then from Hunsacker in the corner to Nelson for the 3. They go on a 10-2 run midway through the second half, sparked by Aird and Nelson as they finish off with the victory over the Roadrunners. Here's Rod Barnes.
I'm excited to be in the conference and the WAC. Really grateful and thankful to the people of Bakersfield for all the administrators and donors and supporters that have put us in a position to be in a conference. And obviously, we're disappointed in what happened tonight because you always you got some excitement and enthusiasm for the game. It's no doubt you want to win the game. Into the second half, they did a great job of running their offense. They executed, and their big guys did a great job inside as far as scoring. I thought our team did some good things. We had our assists up, had our turnovers down. So offensively, I think we're better. Defensively, we didn't answer the challenge tonight. So we got to go back to the drawing boards and figure that out and make sure that doesn't happen to us.
Utah Valley with the 82-74 victory. The Roadrunners fall to 0-1 in conference play. Utah Valley shot over 54% in the second half. They get the victory. Runners also shooting the ball very well, but defensively they struggled, and Utah Valley took advantage for the win. So the Roadrunners then back in action on Thursday night. They will host Grand Canyon University, a team that used to be a conference mate with the Roadrunners at the Division II level. They're making the Division I transition now. They will play as members of the Western Athletic Conference on Thursday night, 7 o'clock at Rabobank Arena. Speaking of Grand Canyon, here's a little bit of the Antelopes in their WAC opener. This was Thursday against Texas Pan Am. They split the weekend play, but Jerome Garrison had a big night. This with the lob to start the game. Grand Canyon hit 4 of their first 6 shots, dominating from long range as Garrison hits the first of 4 3-pointers on his night for the Antelopes as well, right here from the left elbow. Grand Canyon led by as many as 10 in the second half, as Garrison then will hit another as the second half gets going as well for Grand Canyon. UTPA, however, not going away. Justin Leathers coming up with a layup here for the Broncos to get them right back, and the jumper as well. Grand Canyon, though, going to go on a 17-3 run in the second half. Karachi Atungo getting going as well for the Antelopes, and late opportunity there. They cut the lead to just 4 points over the minutes of play. They get a free throw. Then it's Farrell again with the lane, but then the game winner right there. This one's going to be from Jerome Garrison, the dagger with 18 seconds to play. Then a miss by UTPA. All they could do was foul. Grand Canyon holds on for their first WAC win, 91-85. Then Grand Canyon turned around and lost on Saturday night to preseason conference favorite New Mexico State, 82-64. Other scores from around the WAC Saturday's action: Kansas City with another road win. They won their both games this week on the road, 95-84 over Seattle. Chicago State won on the road, 57-55 over Idaho. Idaho loses both games this weekend as well. The road teams in opening weekend were 5-1 in conference play. That victory for Grand Canyon we just showed you on Thursday was the only win for a home team in this week's conference play. That's pretty crazy. So right now, WAC standings, Kansas City 2-0, top of the standings. A good start for the Roos. So, men's basketball underway, and then, guess what? Women's basketball. They play a mirror schedule. So when the men are home, the girls are on the road playing the same opponent. So we go Saturday afternoon to Utah Valley. Let's check out the highlights here for Bakersfield. And falling victim early to hot shooting by the Wolverines. A 3-pointer gives UVU a 7-point lead midway through the first. But Tiana Outland not letting her team stay behind long. She's going to get a jumper off the glass here for Bakersfield. Then Badabe Zampari fights one off with a foul. And the runners go on a 14-0 run to take a 7-point lead. Brooke Hinkins with she would have a good night all night from the outside. One of her 3 3-pointers in the game helps Bakersfield to an 8-point first half lead. Second half, Utah Valley comes back, a 17-3 run. Carly Karcher layup makes it a 6-point Utah Valley lead, just over 10 minutes to play. Bakersfield then responds with a 14-7 run. Tana Outland going to tie it up here with a 3-pointer for the Roadrunner. She passes to Hinkins. Hinkins back to Outland, wide open, knocks down the 3 as Bakersfield then will go up by 2 points as the Roadrunners find Melissa Sweat in the mid-range, and the runners up by 2. UVU gets back up by 3 points with just over 2 minutes left. Then Brooke Hinkins with her third 3 of the game give the runners the lead for good. Tiana Outland with about a minute to play for the Roadrunners, just for good measure. She would lead CSUB with 25 points. Runners by 4, then a 2-pointer to make it a 2-point game after a CSUB miss and timeout. One last shot for the Wolverines. This one's going to lean off the rim as it falls short from Carly Karcher. Bakersfield wins 61-59 at Utah Valley. So the Roadrunners 1-0 in women's basketball conference play as they hold on for the road win at Utah Valley. The runners will now be on the road Thursday at Grand Canyon. As we said, the way the conference works, men are home, women are on the road, and vice versa. So Bakersfield is in Phoenix on Thursday taking on Grand Canyon. Other scores from around the Western Athletic Conference: Grand Canyon falling at New Mexico State 66-63 was Idaho over Chicago State 92-42, and Kansas City over Seattle 75-66. That game played in Kansas City. Women's basketball standings: Idaho with an early 2-0 start. Runners 1-0 with 2 other teams in the conference. Well, we're going to be talking with our director of swimming coming up a little bit later in the program. But hey, how about some swimming highlights for the first time on Roadrunner Rundown? we go to the Hillman Aquatic Center. Bakersfield, Friday, hosting San Jose State. Men's team on hand supporting their teammates. Picking up action here in the backstroke. There's Jeanette Dove, one of the top for Bakersfield. Coming to you here as well, San Jose State would win that heat with Dove finishing third for CSUB. Bright spot for the Roadrunners in the 500 free. Delise Batiza, junior transfer out of Oregon State. She had a big day, a nice race here in the 500 free. As with all distance races, it's going to come down to the last turn, and it did here as well. With she gets the late push and wins that race with a time of 5:01 with a 91 as well. And she also won the 1,000 free with a time of 10:22.81 and would finish third in the 200 IM. Last race of the day was it was a very good one. The 400 relay. Bakersfield's team of Page, Hernandez, Lang, and Kaufman got off to a fast start, but San Jose State able to kick in the final laps of this one to take the win. As you'll see them on this turn, San Jose State starts to close the gap a little bit. The Spartans actually a top 20 team in the nation, and here they are making their comeback on the final stretch of this 400 relay. CSUB would finish second in the event with a time of 3 minutes, 30 seconds, and with a 19. Bakersfield drops the duel 182 to 106. On Saturday, the runners winning their first meet, though, against Fresno State, 169.5 to 130.5. Michaela Page, Paula Hernandez with 3 individual wins for the Roadrunners. So a loss on Friday. They turn around, go to Fresno on Saturday, win that one over Fresno State for the first time ever. We'll talk to Chris Hansen about that coming up a little bit later on the show. Busy weekend for Bakersfield. They'll host Loyola Marymount, UC San Diego, and Alaska Fairbanks, noon Saturday at the Hillman Aquatic Center. And then the men's team will also face UC San Diego in that duel on Saturday as well. So those are our highlights and upcoming action for Roadrunner Athletics, but it's time once again for Corey Versus. And now that the students are back on campus, we're going to have some new Corey Versus, but it still gave us a chance to go back into the archives a little bit and check out some of the worst moments from Corey Versus. This was from episodes 11 through 14, actually, with 3 of our more memorable moments of Corey Versus. Here goes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set up a couple chances here, and I want to let Anthony show you all how it's done with the machete, so to speak, and then I'll give it a shot and see how it goes. You ready?
Yes, I look furthest beyond, it was open. And once I get that, I get in my position, out wide, and I come here. Yep.
Wow, pretty solid machete. He even finds the guy's feet. What a location. Even slow motion is impressive. Machete. I'm gonna come out. You said just here.
Basically, kind of have your leg out wide. And you whip it like a machete.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like that.
There you go.
All right. Look down for someone open.
Yeah. Furthest open.
Furthest open.
Yeah. To see your name over there. Oh.
Oh, that was solid.
Not
bad. Not bad. Replay looks even deadlier. One of these, and I'm looking.
Machete.
And a machete shank.
Hi, my name's Alex Ring, and I'm with Easton Sports. I'm the marketing manager, and today what we were doing is we brought out the Easton Hit Lab so the guys could try out all 7 of our brand new top-of-the-line bats, and throughout their rounds I was tracking their exit velocities, vertical launch angles, and spin rates, and by the end I could custom fit them to the bat that they perform the best with.
Now it's time to show the kids how it's done.
There it is. Yeah.
A couple decent cuts.
Ah! Oh, yeah.
Pull in the air, you can't run.
Team big shit.
Oh!
Oh!
Get out!
Oh!
And now Coach Kernan with a bit of a hitting tip for me.
Ooh!
Wow. Oh! Oh man, did it work. One more time with the natural music this time.
my man Corey jumped on the hit lab at the very end there, and every once in a while, every once in a blue moon, a guy will come along that really shocks me with his bat speed, and I think today was that day. Corey really was impressive on the hit lab.
How about like a little Jordan Bird competition?
Yeah, I'll let you redeem yourself that way.
All right, I might not be able to make a three-pointer from the corner like last time, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to blow your mind. Here we go.
I'll keep it simple for you, Corey.
I'm feeling bouncy today. About a reverse dunk. I'm gonna ride it. Nothing but net.
Off-road deep, off the court, everybody. Close. Oh, that was the one.
I should have fallen.
Yeah, it's probably accurate. It usually moves a lot faster than that too.
Permission to buzz the tower. There you go. Worst of Corey versus. New episodes coming this week, but we figured one more time just to go in the archives and bring you some of the worst moments. So we're going to step away and take a break. When we come back, Athletics Director Jeff Konya going to join us. We'll talk to him about kind of recap the fall season, preview how things have gone in the winter so far as well. That's coming up next. Stick around. This is Roadrunner Rundown.
Introducing TBC Mobile from the Bakersfield, California. The most complete news, sports, weather, video, opinion, and lifestyle coverage in Bakersfield and Kern County. It's the easiest way to stay up to date on all things local while on the go. Read it on your smartphone or tablet. Download now by searching Bakersfield Californian in the Apple, Google, and Amazon app stores. Kern Business Journal contains news and information from local business leaders and organizations. Topics include agriculture, health and medical, energy, real estate, and more. Visit KernBusinessJournal.com to find out how to subscribe or where to pick up a free copy. To inquire about advertising in the bi-monthly Business Journal, call 395-7586. Find us online on Facebook and Twitter, as well as on KernBusinessJournal.com.
Brave and bold, silver and gold.
We're on a mission. Aggie up.
Bronx Country just got a whole lot bigger.
Mighty Wolverines of UVU.
Join the herd. Lopes up.
Bold moves, big season, grew up.
We are the new gold standard.
We will be champions.
We are the Western Athletic Conference.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californians Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
Madness is calling. The 2014 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. March 12th through the 15th at Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. 16 teams battle through the brackets on their way to the big dance. Be there to see who will go home the big winner. All session tickets available at orleansarena.com.
And we're back here on Roadrunner Rundown. Welcome back to the program. Back on Tuesdays. Thanks so much for bearing with us during the holidays. A couple of Monday shows thrown in there, but appreciate you joining back on a Tuesday and another busy week of Roadrunner Athletics. We recapped in the last segment a busy weekend, and now, of course, this week as well. Men's basketball home on Thursday. Wrestling's home on Friday. Men's and women's swimming is in action all day Saturday, so a lot of things happening. We'll talk with the director of swimming, Chris Hansen, in the next segment. But first, Athletics Director Jeff Konya joining us back on the program. Jeff, welcome back.
Thank you.
How was your holidays?
Long.
Yeah.
I was sick a little bit, but it was good.
A little travel here and there, maybe.
Travel. Saw the family back in Tampa for a few days, and then head back here for the games.
Oh, good times, good times. Well, luckily, wisely, you traveled south and not like northeast like everybody else.
Trying to get back.
Yeah,
Keith Ford's still trying to get back.
We still have missing staff members that are stuck on the East Coast somewhere. So welcome back. And I want to talk real quick first, just starting with last Saturday, the WAC opener. We showed some of the highlights, the ribbon cutting, all that stuff. But how excited were you to get to that moment, finally, men's basketball opening conference play after a couple years of work to get that done?
Yeah, no, it was really exciting. I think the community responded well. Unfortunately, Utah Valley played a really good game. A lot of their veterans stepped up, and they shot the ball extremely well and didn't really make any mistakes. So it's not like we played that poorly of a game. I just thought Utah Valley played one of their better games of the year. Other than that, though, I think the atmosphere and the game presentation and just the excitement and overall attitude of Bakersfield and the team and the community leading up to the game, it truly was an event, and that's what we were kind of searching for in terms of our WAC opener.
I know several administrators and other professors that are connected with athletics were around as well. What was kind of their sentiment about the evening that you got from talking with them?
Well, relief, and I think the realization has come that we're a member of a conference now, and I think until you start playing the games, it's a little bit more in theory than in practice.
Right.
And now that we're going to start seeing these teams more regularly in and among all of these sports, and we can start to forge those rivalries. I think that's just going to be a win for our overall athletic department and also the institution with the relationships that we're going to have with these schools.
This is with a lot of these sports. There's a lot of parity in this league, but I mean, the road teams in the opening week of WAC play in men's basketball go 5-1. That's pretty indicative of how this conference is shaped this year. It seems to be fairly wide open.
It does. I mean, I think Kansas City going on the road and winning at Idaho and Seattle, that was something to behold.
Sure.
And maybe they have a squad that's really coming together, but there is parity. I think basically it's New Mexico State and the other 8 at this point. And I was talking to Coach Barnes about this. It's almost like one of those chemistry experiments where you shake up the meter and who knows how it's going to juggle out. The good thing about it, though, is, it's a building process. And as long as the team, and I believe in the talent on our team, if we can continue to build, get the rotations right, and peak, and we've historically been peaking at the end of the year, then who knows in that WAC tournament when they throw the ball up.
It's hard to be patient. I mean, when you're in it, I guess with people not used to being in conference play, it's tough to sort of be patient in a one big league like this because it all comes down to the conference tournament. But yet you want to win every single game leading up to that, but really that it's all going to come down to 3 days in March. So I guess it is kind of tough to be patient. Look at the big picture when you want to win right now in every game.
Well, yeah, and that's going to be kind of a different orientation for us because being independent, every game was important, and we had to basically have an overall resume in order to have postseason opportunities, and not so much this time around. I mean, it's a non-conference, then conference, then tournament. So you really have a staggered approach to the season. It's not to say that the games aren't important. It's just to say that you're really trying to engage in that building process. And again, I think the talent and the rotations, and once these guys start playing together a little bit more. I believe in the coaching staff and the players, and I think we'll be fine.
Let's assess the let's assess the fall season. First full season in the conference. Pretty happy with most of the results with those sports. I mean, they were pretty competitive in their first championships.
Yeah, I mean, I was really pleased with volleyball. I think they took the next step, and it was a very competitive volleyball league in terms of the conference RPI. And we finished second in the regular season, finished as a finalist, and lost in the championship game to New Mexico State in the tournament. But that said, just a tremendous season for those ladies, and really set the foundation for what we can do with the volleyball program. And then, men's soccer finished second, made the semis. I thought they, for the most part, outplayed their opponent in that semifinal game. And the quote unquote was, "We're unlucky to not move forward and advance to the championship game." And then, I thought cross country had some good performances, individual performances, and I thought women's soccer, really had a tough start to the year, and halfway through the season, kind of had an epiphany and started to play some really better soccer toward the end, and put themselves in position to almost qualify for the WAC tournament. So, all in all, I think we're heading in the right direction with the vast majority of our sports.
Speaking with Athletics Director Jeff Konya here on Roadrunner Rundown. Now, speaking of soccer, we've mentioned Simon Tobin moving on, but you mentioned in your statement that he's left this job in a good place. It's been about a week or so. What's the response been from people interested in being the coach at CSUB?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's advertised, and the response has been really quite strong, as you would imagine. It's a very talented, young roster. Just met with the team yesterday with Coach Tobin, and kind of told him what the process was going to be and what we're kind of looking for. And basically what we're looking for is to put those individuals in the best position to compete for championships and have athletic performances that they want, that they desire, and they seek. And so there's some characteristics in terms of leadership and in terms of some experiences and attributes with coaching acumen that really play into that search process. But overall strong in terms of the applicant pool so far.
Now, you were on the NCAA men's soccer committee this year. Got a chance to travel around a lot during the NCAA tournament, attended the College Cup in Philadelphia. What was that experience like?
Cold. It was really cold in Philadelphia. I was asking the committee members, who selected Philadelphia as a site.
Right. Right. Exactly.
There's a lot of places, but no, the venue was unbelievable. I mean, it's where the Union play in MLS, and it's one of the newer stadiums, and just the teams that were there, they really enjoyed that atmosphere and playing in a soccer-only venue, and I think that was important for them. Other than the weather, I mean, it was fantastic. But the whole process from selection and going through all the RPIs and selecting the field and the at-large and talking with and going through the lens of how you put together a tournament to the matchups all the way through to fruition in the final or College Cup, the Final Four of soccer, was really it was interesting.
What are your thoughts on the state of the sport now that you've had like a year on the inside, so to speak?
Oh, it's strong. I mean, again, it's one of those sports that if you pay attention to, you really see quality. Mm-hmm. And especially at the high end, upper levels. I mean, you're looking at the future of the MLS really being developed in U.S. college soccer. And, 25 years ago, that was unheard of. And right now, with our experiences with Jossie and with Corey Kindle most recently, you see college soccer being well represented, even in the first, second year in the MLS, getting roster spots and starring. So the talent is there in college soccer, and if you're a soccer fan, you really should pay attention to the game.
Finally, with all the conference stuff kind of on the back burner now, and that's all taken care of. 2014 is here. What kind of, in your mind, is there goals, resolution, something you have for 2014 you'd like to see at CSUB?
Oh, man. Well, I think we have to put our coaches in positions to be successful and our teams as well, and so we kind of have to recalibrate our infrastructure. A lot of that is tied to resources and facilities, and so we have to identify a facilities plan as to where, if we're going to invest $1, where we can get the most bang for the buck in terms of our facilities. Some of our facilities, we're precluded from having WAC championships, so we have to come up with a plan so that we're not behind the 8 ball in terms of our facilities versus our peer competition. So that, and also, from a scholarship standpoint, we have to get stronger in terms of the amount of scholarships that we offer in certain teams. We're behind some of even our WAC. If you look at the numbers, what we are doing in terms of performances is not indicative of where our scholarship totals are in certain sports. So those are probably the two things that I'd like to focus on in terms of a facility plan, and also trying to get more finances attached to the scholarships. And that's basically the external side of the shop. So working with Ziggy, identifying ways to create revenue streams so that we can achieve those goals.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like two important ones for 2014, but of course, winning is a good one as well. So hopefully that
winning is good. Vegas will be fun,
yes.
And a WAC championship in basketball, in men's and women's basketball, would be even greater.
Yeah. And baseball's right around the corner. They get going in February, and they're defending conference champions. So still got a lot of stuff to happen in 2014.
Yeah, and I'm excited for the Tommy John. Hot stove dinner,
February 8th.
That'll be a good way to start the baseball season.
There you go. All right, Jeff, thanks for joining us.
All right, no problem.
All right, folks, stick around. We'll be back. We'll talk with Chris Hansen. We're going to go into the pool. Well, not literally, but we'll talk with him about what happens in the pool and his women's team. Good win on Saturday. We'll talk about that and more. Stick around. It's Roadrunner Rundown.
Introducing TBC Mobile from the Bakersfield, California. The most complete news, sports, weather, video, opinion, and lifestyle coverage in Bakersfield and Kern County. It's the easiest way to stay up to date on all things local while on the go. Read it on your smartphone or tablet. Download now by searching Bakersfield Californian in the Apple, Google, and Amazon app stores.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californian's Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The Daily Deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
The Bakersfield Californian is a great read on the iPad, but did you know that the Bakersfield Californian is available on your Kindle Fire? Or how about Google's Nexus 7, the Nook? You bet. You can also read a full replica of the newspaper on your Android-powered smartphone, on Apple's iPhone, or on your laptop. We have a solution for any device. E-Edition is free for subscribers, or just $7.99 a month. The Bakersfield Californian. We're everywhere and anytime. Subscribe today. Bakersfield.com.
Kern Business Journal contains news and information from local business leaders and organizations. Topics include agriculture, health and medical, energy, real estate, and more. Visit KernBusinessJournal.com to find out how to subscribe or where to pick up a free copy. To inquire about advertising in the bi-monthly Business Journal, call 395-7586. Find us online on Facebook and Twitter, as well as on KernBusinessJournal.com.
Madness is calling. The 2014 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. March 12th through the 15th at Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. 16 teams battle through the brackets on their way to the Big Dance. Be there to see who will go home the big winner. All session tickets available at OrleansArena.com.
And we are back on Roadrunner Rundown. Thanks so much for joining us. And, of course, you can get the show anytime online at GoRunners.com, archived episodes of the program as well. Well, we had a first earlier in the show. We showed swimming highlights for the first time on the program. And, for the first time in the video portion of the program, we want to welcome to the show our Director of Swimming, Chris Hansen. Chris, good to see you. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Well, first of all, I want to talk about this past weekend. You lose to San Jose State on Friday, but then you bounce back on Saturday. A big win for the women's team over Fresno State at their place. How important was that win for your program?
We've never beaten Fresno State, as far as I know. Definitely since we've been Division I, maybe a long time ago. Coming off a 6-week training camp and having a double meet like that, it was really impressive.
And it did come a day after you lost to a very good San Jose State squad. What kind of changed in the 24 hours? I mean, and I know you mentioned to me you kind of done a little bit of different lineup stuff against San Jose State.
We did do. We really worked hard on this Fresno State lineup because the team really wanted to win. In the year so far has been the Paula Hernandez, Michaela Page, Delise Batiza show. Yeah. The entire women showed up for Fresno State, and that's the only reason why we beat a team like that.
Now, you bring up Page and Hernandez, and they had exceptional meets. Do they sort of, and you said the rest of the team obviously showed up and swam very well, but do they seem to set the pace? Are they sort of, does the rest of the team feed off of them when they're having good meets in the pool?
I think they feed off them, but I think they depend on them.
Okay.
And for the first time this season, I could say since I've taken over the women's program, by far the most proud I've been, and all 22 women stepped up and raced.
Nice. And then obviously Paige, Hernandez, and I mean, they've had exceptional years, and I mean, you have to be impressed with just what they've been able to do and accomplish and even improve upon here. And, I know a couple have been here for a year or so, but I mean, you got to be impressed with just with their development individually.
There's actually not one woman on the team that's been here for more than a year.
More than a year, yeah.
They're either 1 year or 2 years. It's been Michaela gets up and races.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's a women's only meet, they don't have the rest of the men's events.
Right.
So Michaela and Delise had to double, 100 free, 500 free back to back.
Wow.
These girls just stood up. They were hungry. I mean, I was shocked.
Well, definitely a great win. And, you took over a couple seasons ago, both programs. The women's team was struggling. You and your staff put a lot of energy and time into rebuilding it. I mean, you got to be very happy with where it is at now, considering the start you've had this year.
It's only taken us 2 years really to turn it around.
Yeah.
The WAC has picked us in the top 3
for
the women. We were 7th last year. We'll see.
Well, now, how'd you make this an attractive? Because obviously you have to do it by recruiting. So how did you and your staff make this an attractive destination, an attractive program to get new recruits, to get transfers as well? There's several swimmers that have transferred from other Division I institutions. So what have you done to make this place an attractive destination?
Being a co-ed program helps a lot for both programs to recruit for. My team speaks for itself. I tell the recruits when they get here that we're a close-knit team. And it sounds like a cheesy recruiting tool on the phone, but you kind of see us.
Well, actually, we do have some highlights of how close-knit your team is. This was from Saturday night's men's basketball game, a little bit from there as well. We can show those here, Chris. This was the men's team at the women's meet on Saturday or on Friday. So they're there obviously, and they're always there supporting and yelling. And then there they go. There's your squad, men's and women's squad at the basketball game, and the men's team decided to wear their quote-unquote uniforms for the event. And that's what your team does. I mean, they support other student athletes, but they also, it seems like it is one really big family, and that must be great for recruits.
It makes life a lot easier. We had to create that in the beginning 6 years ago, and now they do all this. This was their idea. My eyes were shocked as everyone else's were when they stood up in their suits.
It's funny because Chris, you just says, they come up with all this stuff. I just kind of sit back and watch and hope for the best.
I panic sometimes. I do. But you know what? This is what it's like at other schools.
Sure.
And if we want to get to that level, we got to start acting like college students.
Yeah. Again, and the game day atmosphere and school spirit, all that stuff is a big part of that. I want to talk a little bit about the men's team. I mean, this is a squad. I mean, just assess the beginning of their season as you get ready to get into a real important meet in Vegas in a couple weeks, and a conference swim meet in February in San Antonio. Where do you kind of rank this team right now on the men's side?
This is a struggle for the men this year.
Mm-hmm.
5 winning seasons, conference championships. This is probably our off year. However, we'll go to NCAAs for the first time.
Oh, okay.
We're a small squad. We're not going to rank as high as we have in conferences in the past.
Yeah.
But Mitchell Huxold will be in Texas at the NCAA championships. Awesome. I have no doubt in my mind. I've said that the last 2 years, and he's missed it by 1.
Barely, yeah.
But, so if we have an off year in dual meets and we go to the NCAA championship, I think we'll be okay.
Sure.
It's going to be a turnaround year for the men. We have to dive into recruiting hard.
Well, and you won so much in the last 5 years or so. I mean, obviously, every once in a while you have that reloading year, right?
I don't like it, but this is our reloading year.
Yeah.
And we spent so much time rebuilding the women.
Yeah.
We didn't put the men on the back burner, but we had to get 22 new women in the last 2 years.
Right.
And that's wasn't easy.
Takes a little work, absolutely. And swimming is different. I mean, you want to win your dual meets, but really it comes down to obviously individual times and then the conference meet, correct? I mean, that's kind of how it's all set up.
Yeah. I mean, we want to win events this year. Mitchell wants, the WAC is not an easy conference for the men with UNLV and Wyoming.
Yeah.
Both fully funded programs. But we want to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And if we beat them in some races and Mitchell gets the NC2As, it's a success.
Let's real quick on the women's side. Tri-dual this weekend. Is this kind of sort of a preparation for you got that big conference meet at UNLV in a few weeks? 3 teams coming in there, and then the conference championship at San Antonio. So, how much does an event like this weekend help prepare for the next couple weeks where it's really going to be important?
When I look at it, I'm not sure why I did it. I think because we knew we had so many young women that we had to do a lot of big meets to get them ready for the WAC. If the women win all 3 this weekend, we'll be 8-2.
Wow.
And we've never had a winning record on the women's side.
Yeah.
I think it's 16 years, they said.
Wow.
But LMU and Alaska, I think we can do. UCSD is going to be a tough one.
And that's the weird part, and that's, I guess, the weird thing about swimming, too. I mean, you have a lot of, even at like UCSD, a Division II squad has a ton of swimming talent on both sides, men and women. So you look at that and you say, a Division II team. It doesn't work like that. I mean, in swimming and in some of these Olympic sports, they're still very competitive.
Grand Canyon's about to shock everybody, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about on the men's side, UC San Diego? Again, no pushover on Saturday.
No, they've beaten us the last 2 years when we were on our A game. So, I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see how it goes. Well, of course, this weekend at the Hillman Aquatic Center starts at noon. And Chris, congrats on the start so far, and good luck. I know these next few weeks are very important, so good luck to you.
Great, thank you.
All right, we're going to step away, folks. When we come back, we're going to talk some basketball. We're going to go behind enemy lines. We will speak with Michael Potter. He is the play-by-play announcer for Grand Canyon men's basketball. We'll preview Thursday's game with him. Coming up next, stick around. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Rundown.
The Bakersfield Californian is a great read on the iPad, but did you know that the Bakersfield Californian is available on your Kindle Fire? Or how about Google's Nexus 7, the Nook? You bet. You can also read a full replica of the newspaper on your Android-powered smartphone, on Apple's iPhone, or on your laptop. We have a solution for any device. E-Edition is free for subscribers, or just $7.99 a month. The Bakersfield Californian. We're everywhere and anytime. Subscribe today. Bakersfield.com.
Current Business Journal contains news and information from local business leaders and organizations. Topics include agriculture, health and medical, energy, real estate, and more. Visit KernBusinessJournal.com to find out how to subscribe or where to pick up a free copy. To inquire about advertising in the bi-monthly Business Journal, call 395-7586. Find us online on Facebook and Twitter, as well as on KernBusinessJournal.com.
Bakersfield Life Magazine is a monthly lifestyle publication that features local people, places, and businesses. It is available to be read on BakersfieldLife.com and publishes the last Saturday of the month with many convenient pickup locations. Find us online on Facebook or Twitter, as well as BakersfieldLife.com.
Save 50 to 90% with the Bakersfield Californians Daily Deal featured on Bakersfield.com. A daily deal is offered each weekday on services from local restaurants, dry cleaners, health and beauty services, retail shops, and local activities for the entire family. The daily deal is 100% local. Find these amazing deals only at dailydeal.bakersfield.com.
Madness is calling. The 2014 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. March 12th through the 15th at Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. 16 teams battle through the brackets on their way to the Big Dance. Be there to see who will go home the big winner. All session tickets available at orleansarena.com.
Hey, welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. Final segment of the program. My thanks to Athletics Director Jeff Konya for joining us earlier on the show. Chris Hansen, our Director of Swimming, for joining us in the last segment as well. And, of course, swimming with a busy weekend. They've got the Tri-Dual. The women's team has the Tri-Dual on Saturday afternoon at noon at the Hillman Aquatic Center. And Alaska Fairbanks, UC San Diego, and Loyola Marymount in town. And the men's team will also take on UC San Diego Saturday at noon as well at the Hillman Aquatic Center. So make sure you go check out. Support the swim team, who does a great job of supporting all the other schools and all the other sports on campus as well. So just go and make sure you give them a few minutes of your time on Saturday and support what they're doing as well, because they've returned that favor to plenty of teams on campus, that's for sure. Hey, we also got men's basketball Thursday night at Rabobank Arena, second WAC game for Bakersfield. They'll be welcoming Grand Canyon to Rabobank, and I want to welcome to the program now as we go behind enemy lines, as we're joined on the program now by Michael Potter, the play-by-play announcer for Grand Canyon. Michael, thanks so much for joining us. How you doing?
Hey, good, Corey. Thanks for having me.
Hey, first of all, Grand Canyon, a familiar name for Runners fans because of the tradition or the years they were together as a Division II, but this isn't your daddy's Grand Canyon University anymore, is it? This is what have you been witnessing in the transition thus far?
Well, things have changed quite a bit down here at GCU. The campus is growing, the new building's popping up. We built a new arena that's about a 5,000-seat arena right on campus, and next year they're actually going to expand it to about a 7,500-seat arena. So, yeah, Grand Canyon is different, but, we still remember all those battles in the CCAA with the Roadrunners. We could never quite get the best of you guys, so we're looking forward to renewing that rivalry.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the way the WAC's set up, too, I mean, it's nice to have an opponent that's not that far away in Phoenix, so that works pretty well as well. Let's talk about your first week in conference play. Grand Canyon went 1-1. You guys shot well against UT Pan American. We showed some of the highlights earlier on the show. You fell Saturday to New Mexico State. What was the difference in those two ball games, in your opinion?
Well, like you said, we shot really well against UTPA. I mean, we had some open shots, and we knocked them down, hit 14 threes in that game against New Mexico State. They're a better ball club than Pan American. They play a lot tighter defense on the perimeter. Those guards that they've got, Eldridge, Ross Miller, and Baker coming in, those guys are really tough, and we only made 4 threes. And also, Killian Larson, he's our big man in the middle. He's got 11 double-doubles on the year. He was 26 and 12 against UTPA, but he only had 4 points and 3 boards. Shalizi Napawe really gave him trouble inside, and I think those are the two keys and the difference in the ball game.
How tough was it? I haven't had a chance to really see New Mexico State in person yet, but obviously you talked about they were able to kind of shut down your big men, and they have a lot of big men on that roster. How tough were they inside?
Yeah, we thought, Sim Bular was out with a foot injury, the freshman of the year last year. He was out with a foot injury, 7'5" guy, and we thought, oh, man, we might have a shot inside. But, well, I tell you what, myself and my analyst, Dan Nichols, we were really impressed with Chalizi Napaway. I had heard that, he was a big kid, but he was still a little rough around the edges. But, boy, we saw him probably at his best. 6'10" and every bit, 268. He actually looks like he's got an NBA body, just a big kid, and he was very difficult for us to handle inside.
Michael Potter, play-by-play announcer for Grand Canyon University, joining us on the program. Runners in Grand Canyon will meet on Thursday night, 7 o'clock at Rabobank Arena. Let's talk about the Antelopes a little bit. A lot of guys, recruited when this was a Division II squad, so plenty of Division I transfers on the roster that now they get a chance to play back in Division I. So there's a lot of talent on this Grand Canyon team, isn't there?
Yeah, there really is. And some of these guys that were playing Division II, recruited to play Division II, like a Killian Larson, a Jerome Garrison, have been playing very well. Larson, like I mentioned, 11 double-doubles on the season, had 26 and 12 against Pan American. And then Jerome Garrison had 24 against Pan American, and then going up against Daniel Mullings, played really good defense on him and scored 25 points for a new career high. So those D2 guys are really stepping up. And then probably the most dynamic player we've ever seen here, Daniel Alexander, transferred in from Texas A&M, and he had basically sat out about 2 years, so he's got 4 or 5 games under his belt in the last 2 years, and every game we see him do something spectacular. I don't know if you saw it, but against New Mexico, he took the ball at the right elbow, top of the key area, took 2 dribbles, put the ball behind his back, and then slammed down a tomahawk right-hand dunk against Napaway. So he's number 12. He's something to watch. He's pretty special.
I know a couple of players dismissed recently for team rules violations. How much has that affected this team, or has that given other guys a chance to step up?
Well, I think it's affected us quite a bit from a depth standpoint. We've had some injuries, and you mentioned one of our better players, Demetrius Walker, who transferred from New Mexico State, was averaging just under 17 points. He was dismissed from the team. Our starting point guard, Jeff Lowry, who had missed the first, 5 or 6 games and had just come back and getting back in form, he was dismissed. And then Justin Foreman, our 6th man, is suspended till, I believe, the end of January, somewhere around that time. So depth-wise, we went down to Tennessee to play in that tournament at Chattanooga, and we had 7 guys, and 2 were walk-on. So it really has affected us from a depth perspective. We were fortunate to get Sam Daly back. He's a walk-on, but a recruited walk-on, if you know what I mean. And so he's done really well at the point for us and helped us with some of that depth.
Jerome Garrison seems to be taking over recently. What's his game like, and how has his play been changed in light of recent events and some more playing time?
Well, our head coach, Dan Marley, loves him because I think Jerome reminds Dan of Dan because very hard-nosed. He's a fearless player. He's averaging about 37 minutes a game. He played all 40 against both these WAC teams. He likes to drive the ball. He likes to get in the side. He doesn't mind contact. He had a couple of drives against the Poway. Just took it right to him, went to the foul line, can shoot the free throws very well, so very aggressive. He's got a good mid-range jumper, but really Jerome's at his best with the ball in his hands, driving, creating some contact, and getting either the and one or hitting 2 free throws.
You bring up first-year head coach Dan Marley. How's he adapted to the college game, and do you get a sense that he's enjoying this ride so far?
Yeah, that's one thing you'll see if you come out to the game. Dan Marley enjoys everything he does in life. It's really fun to watch him kind of, he's tough on the guys. All the guys have said these are the hardest practices they've ever had. And if you ever saw Dan Marley play for the Suns, he likes to play hard and physical, and their practices have been hard and physical. They have quite a few practices where Killian Larson's not allowed to call a foul against the other guys, so they just hammer him to try to toughen him up. And so that's the way Marley plays. That's the way he wants his guys to play. But, boy, he likes to yuck it up with the guys. He likes to slap high fives when they hit a shot. I think he's really enjoying it. I think it was a difficult decision for him with the dismissal of the players, but I think, in his interviews he said, look, I'm here to build a program, and we got to let kids know they got to do it the right way or they're not going to be on this team. So he wants to win now, but he understands that he's going to give up a few wins here and there early on to kind of get the program he wants set in play.
It seems like the people of Phoenix, supporters of Grand Canyon so far have been behind you guys. You got a couple great crowds early, and obviously it's a new thing. Do you think people are going to keep coming back? Obviously the transition takes a while and it's a long road, but do you think this is something that you'll be able to sustain throughout the transition as you become a full Division I member?
Yeah, I think so, Corey. You know, we've got a great administration with Brian Mueller, the president, Keith Baker, athletic director. You know, Dan Marley, Jerry Colangelo is involved with the team as a special advisor in athletics to the president. So we've got all the pieces in place to really continue this and grow it to a high level. And, you know, when you guys come down and see us later near, you'll see we had 4,800 there, and it seats about just under 5, you know. So we had the largest crowd ever there, and it gets really raucous and loud and crazy, and it's just a fun atmosphere. They have concerts after the games, fireworks, everything. So it's a great event that they put on. So, yeah, I have no doubt that it's going to continue in that direction as the Lopes grow into this Division I.
Awesome. Well, Michael, I appreciate your time, and safe travels to Bakersfield. We will see you on Thursday, my friend.
Thanks a lot. Enjoyed it, man.
All right, Michael Potter of Grand Canyon Radio joining us on the program. And Runners in Grand Canyon will be Thursday, 7 o'clock at Rabobank Arena. And Runners in Grand Canyon, last time they played 2006 when they were both members of the CCAA at the Division II level. That year, Grand Canyon had left the conference. Actually, they were going to go, at the time, we're going to drop down to the NAIA level. And then things changed. Someone else purchased the university. And eventually, here they are now. They're making the transition to NCAA Division I. So crazy what, basically 8 years have done. But it'll be Roadrunners in Grand Canyon. And like I said earlier, not your daddy's Grand Canyon University, a little bit different. And we will see them Thursday night at Rabobank Arena. Of course, former NBA star Dan Marley, the head coach of the Grand Canyon Antelope. So that will be 7 o'clock Thursday at Rabobank Arena. Thanks so much for joining us. My thanks to Jeff Konya, our athletic director, Chris Hansen, director of swimming, and Michael Potter for joining us on the program. You can catch the show anytime online at GoRunners.com. Give us a follow on Facebook at Facebook.com/CSUB Roadrunners, on Twitter at CSUB Athletics, and of course on Instagram as well at CSUB Athletics. Next week on the show, women's basketball. They'll be home for a couple conference games, so we will get a chance to speak with Greg McCall, head women's basketball coach. We'll talk some women's hoops as well. Nice start for Bakersfield. They've won 3 in a row. They've won their first WAC game. They won 4 of their last 5, so we'll have some women's hoops on the program next week as well, and a new version of Corey Versus as well, now that the student athletes are back from break and we have more time to go play and shoot some video. So we'll do that this week as well. So thanks so much for joining us, folks. And once again, the show available anytime online at GoRunners.com. We'll see you Thursday night for men's basketball. Thanks so much for joining us. This has been Roadrunner Rundown.